Hey everyone, and welcome to episode number 64 of the ToonamiGAF podcast.
64!
That's a lot.
What was that?
Have you
It's a
guys
big
never
number.
seen that video?
Oh yeah,
There's
no,
like
Nintendo
a little kid getting
64!
the Nintendo.
Oh man, I can't wait till we get to episode 69.
Oh god.
Oh. Anyway, I'm Greg Zeno. That was Seda.
Yep.
Yep.
Hi. I'm back.
He's
Hello.
returned to us from the dark lands.
The dark lands of Washington State.
Seriously. It's dark over there. It's
Sea
rainy
Kohler?
and shit.
I live in the desert half of Washington.
There's a desert half?
Yeah, the right hand side of the state. East. Basically on the other side of the mountain, so it's a desert.
Damn, I thought it was all just like rainy shit. Sorry.
Sea Kohler has been kicked off this podcast in favor of which side of Washington is not on. Hello, Sea Kohler.
Hello, everyone.
B-dubs.
Yes. Hello.
Hello. Well, let's just get right into the block since there's basically no news.
Okay, before we start, the Toonami guys have said they are doing something at the Comic-Con, right? Like live pre-flight.
They're doing something.
But like pre-flight live or whatever it is. But we don't really expect them to announce anything, right? It's just not the right.
No, I mean, there's nothing.
Not a good time period.
No, I mean, there's nothing to announce at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, we know
unless they want to announce like a replacement for a show that ends. Or like announce like Lupin's replacement already or something.
I mean, Lupin's got like 25, 26 episodes, so that's cutting it a little early.
Yeah,
Unless they just really want to announce Mob Psycho or My Hero Academia.
So yeah, I mean, sorry, that's not really news, but like they're doing that live pre-flight, but it's probably just going to be
nothing.
Honestly, as kind of stupid.
Probably worth tuning into for just listening to the crazy questions.
I mean, if they do announce anything, I think it's something like this. It might be, a new, like custom Toonami show, but I don't think we're there yet.
They'll probably announce what the total
whatever the intruder thing is.
Yeah, for this year.
Probably.
We'll probably get an intro to that.
Yeah. I'm not sure how many people care about that though, really.
Probably not.
I mean, we'll get something. We'll get a new block look and something out of it.
I mean, they like to always update it every year, it looks like.
Maybe we'll get a new Tom.
Maybe they'll announce what Gendy's up to.
It's too soon.
If Gendy is doing something right now, it's in like concept phases, so.
Yeah.
Like at most they would say, he's gonna do something.
I'm okay with just that.
I think you guys hit the nail on the head. It's probably going to be a sneak peek at the next Intruder event.
Well, it's not. I mean, it's obviously not. It's not going to be Intruder 4, but it's going to be some sort of tie.
Yeah.
We know what we mean.
Yeah. Anyway, Dragon Ball Super, everyone.
Sure.
Dragon Ball Super Episode 25, A Full Throttle Battle, The Vengeful Golden Frieza. I'm going to be frank, when trawling through the thread, trying to find Metatron's posts for these, I sometimes click on the one for this current week because I honestly don't, the Dragon Ball Super titles, it's like, oh, what happened in this week? I don't know.
Yeah. I was actually just thinking that same thing when you were mentioning that show. Like, wait, what happened exactly? Because we know it's Goku and Frieza, but like, that can describe a bunch of episodes.
They punched each other, Vegeta got salty and attacked Goku, and then Goku showed off his new transformation.
Wasn't that last week, though?
That was last week.
Yeah,
that was last week. Shit.
This week.
Thank you for proving our point.
This is the Dragon Ball Super experience, everybody. What episode was that? Whatever.
I'll tell you what. I know what happened because I took notes. So I'll use my notes. All right. So this was the Golden Frieza episode.
Right.
They revealed Golden Frieza, which is literally called Golden Frieza. We did see Champa of the Sixth Universe show up briefly and had a conversation with Beerus. And Beerus showed up with Whis. And then the probably the biggest moment of the episode was Bulma saved Earth.
Yes.
Yes. She did that.
She most
How did she
certainly
do that
saved
again?
Earth.
I forget.
By getting Beerus to show up because she
No,
had a
no.
Sunday?
She stopped what's his face from calling in a mega missile attack.
Oh, Jacko.
Jocko.
Oh,
Jacob.
right, yeah.
The worst
What the hell
galactic
is he-
policeman.
Yeah, seriously, he's more useless than Gohan is right now.
Your planet calls 911, he shows up and blows it up.
Mm-hmm.
I continue to enjoy Jocko. He's a welcome addition to the show, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Saykoler, you should totally replace the opening for this episode for Dragon Ball Super with just the theme from Goldfinger.
I like it.
There we
Goldfinger!
Gold Frieza.
You know,
Anyway.
the only other thing. Oh, I've got one other thing to say about this episode is, even though like Goku is now Super Saiyan God, blah 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 blah, blah whatever,
He's blue.
yeah, he's blue, and Golden Frieza is and Golden, and they're fighting. The fight itself is just like every other fight.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it doesn't look any different.
Mm-hmm.
It's like every other fight except boring.
Except they switched the colors.
Yeah, the colors are different, but like the amount of damage they're doing, and the collateral damage, it's all the same as like
Yeah.
when they were fighting, Cell. And
Mm-hmm.
the other thing that's funny about it is that like every time they cut away from the battle and they show the Whis Jocko stuff, I'm like way more interested in that.
That's kind of how the first arc was too, when it was Goku versus Beerus. Like, I don't really care like the stakes of this battle of gods. You know, it's like I kind of like I'm just kind of like amused just enough by like the hijinks or
Mm-hmm.
whatever is kind of going on around like the main storyline, I guess. Like, do we really care that Frieza's back? I don't know.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
I mean, just now we were struggling to remember that Super Saiyan Blue and Golden Frieza happened because they just happen, and it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
One other thing I just remembered, though, that was kind of interesting was that when Frieza saw Beerus, we got to see a side of Frieza we've never seen before, where he was like cowering in fear. Which I kind of like.
Basically,
that.
I don't think there's any other time where. Is there any other person that he would do that? No, I don't think so. No.
I can't imagine.
No.
He even like back in the Cell Saga, kind of like is still a smug prick even when he's talking to his dad. So,
Yeah.
Like maybe if Cell showed up and whooped his ass a bit.
It might help.
anyways, so how many more episodes are there in this arc?
Enough.
Like, I thought it was only like a couple, one or two, but
It's too.
I think you're right. I thought that there was only a couple more, and then we're on to this whatever the next thing is, which I'm assuming is going to be Champa related.
so like first of all, for this podcast, are we like being like super precautious about like spoilers for Super?
I mean, we're not like outright
Yeah, we kind
spoiling
of are.
people.
Okay. Because I know a little bit about stuff that happens, you know, just from osmosis, even though I haven't really watched the Japanese broadcast. So I know what the next arc, like some of the characters in it, but I don't really know why they're in it, type of thing. So
No one knows why they're in it.
I think it's worth protecting a bit of the spoiler stuff, just because I mean, just even for my own selfish reasons, because like I only know a couple of little things from osmosis about what's happening in Super, but I'm deliberately avoiding it because
as soon I was going to say, as soon as we start talking about it even a little, we're just going to start spoiling more and more, and then yeah.
Right,
So.
and there's something kind of special about not knowing something about Dragon Ball, since Dragon Ball's been around for so long. It's like, wow, new Dragon Ball.
I'm shocked.
I can't recite every line of Dragon Ball.
We have no abridged.
I think I remember even saying on a podcast a long time ago, like I find it almost, for Dragon Ball Z specifically, I kind of find it hard to like be critical of, because it's kind of like I felt like I've always known it.
Yeah.
So it's like I'm not critical of this storyline because this is how this is like I kind of like it feels like I was born and I already knew this.
Yeah.
Here's a criticism. I'm just so done with the fights because they're all the goddamn same.
Well, I mean, here's hoping that I mean, you guys talk a lot about the fact that like what's currently happening in this show is way more interesting and well made. I'm assuming there's lots of fights to come that are probably better than this.
Yeah, I mean, this one is like, I mean, just in terms of how well animated some of the future fights are, I mean, they just blow this out of the water. Honestly, I feel like this is sort of the low point of the series.
Mm-hmm.
I think pretty much everyone says that, so.
Yeah, I think I've heard that too.
I mean, it's pretty much the big waste of time you have to get through to get to the good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, these movie remakes were just an excuse to get something on the air while they were making the real show.
Yeah, pretty much.
Basically.
Anyway, do you want to talk about Dragon Ball Z Kai?
Yes.
I guess.
Dragon Ball Z Kai, the final chapters, episode 124. Straight away into despair, the terror of Majin Buu. Or just kind of, you know, he shows up and does the things every new villain does, and it's like, oh no.
He doesn't,
he doesn't do it quite the same way, though.
This is completely different than any other villain we've seen.
Yeah, I mean, he's just dicking around.
I mean, it meets a weird balance where like he's obviously got like this really high pitched like childish voice, and he's like very very gleeful and babyish, and then like his eyes are always like animated as closed, but then he has like this weird like grimace that he'll do, and he opens his eyes, and you know when he does that, he's gonna like punch somebody and knock him out. So he's like menacing in a weird like creepy way, kind of like almost like a, I don't know,
like a creepy child,
like a clown in a horror movie or something, yeah.
Or like one of them children possessed by Satan or whatever.
What I'm saying is that the way his power is demonstrated is, well, 90% of it is we are told that he is super strong, and then the other 10% is that he, you know, easily defeats a character who, you know, I kind of think every villain just kind of in their introductory sequence just kicks someone through a mountain.
Yeah.
And now, so like the fifth time it's happened, it's like, okay, I guess that was more impressive because the guy he kicked is supposed to be stronger, but also with the way Dragon Ball power level works, we only know that guy is stronger because we were told he is stronger.
And this is where I think getting a little bit too much into like power level, like actual like serious thought on it is really just not worth it. It's just like, like, I mean, the problem how much stronger is he than Cell? Is he like 3 times stronger? And like nah, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. Kind of like what C. Kohler was saying about like Goku and Frieza fighting, and they're supposedly way stronger than they used to be, but it doesn't matter. So
it's just like at this point, it's impossible to actively demonstrate how that somebody is stronger than another person because you can't.
Well, like, you know, the whole build up to this moment was, you know, we had the stuff with Dabura in the past and showing how strong he was. And then, of course, he gets one-shotted by Buu. And that, I mean, that really is the whole point of that character. The whole point of Dabura was to show that this super powerful guy is just instantly wiped out by this goofy blob monster. So his role is done.
Is that with Dabura, the only reason we know he's strong is because, you know, we're told we're told he's strong, and 2, Gohan couldn't beat him. Yeah. But also he can spit on people, but that's beside the point. But so kind of like at this point, like power level stuff is kind of based on, well, he's stronger than that, who's stronger than that, who's stronger than that, who's stronger than that. And at this point, the only thing you could actually do in Dragon Ball to like really get me to go, holy shit, is like blow up every universe. And so it's not good.
Somebody in the thread during this episode, when Buu was like turning on Babidi as you know, or turning on Dabura and stuff, they posted the top 10 anime betrayals. It made me laugh.
All I'm saying is I'm kind of seeing how like Dragon Ball was the last stand of like power level shonen, and why everything became everyone has a unique and different power shonen.
Yeah, I feel like even then, like it is possible if the writing was more clever, that like you could have just like martial artists with like, you know, this ki power or whatever you call it, and then, like, you could, with a better writer, you could make the fights more interesting, even if like unique powers don't exist. Like,
AKA Yu Yu Hakusho.
Yeah, well, I'm not super familiar with Yu Yu Hakusho, but
I mean,
it,
that show just runs off of shit talking.
Hunter x Hunter,
it does.
Hunter x Hunter is kind of that, though. I mean, like, they're not every character. They have unique abilities to each character, but they're all based around the same. Like, any one of those characters could have developed that technique. You know what I mean? Like, if they had the specialty.
Hunter x Hunter also doesn't seem to be so focused on fighting, even.
No,
like, it's like there's a little bit of a different focus change. But I mean, like, you could write a story about martial artists and like have it be a compelling, fight between martial artists, even if like all martial artists they're literally using the same style of fighting. And then, like, okay, let's just add like magical Kai powers or Ki powers, or whatever they're called, on top of that. And like, it would be possible to write fights with conclusions or with strategies or with something to make them a little bit more interesting, even if there weren't unique powers, like One Piece or whatever. Like, I'm not saying, basically in short, what I'm saying is I don't think unique powers are like a requisite thing to make fights interesting.
No.
They help, but like the fact is just that the writing is not doing it any favors either. It's just like, oh, Goku got a new transformation that makes him even stronger, and he's got blue hair now. Or no, now Frieza does, and he's gold.
The thing is that DBZ is the opposite of what you're describing, because it is literally the same moves. They just up their power levels. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, every time Goku fights, he uses his Kamehameha. You know what I mean? He doesn't come with a new move.
Everyone fights.
They use Kamehameha.
What is Kamehameha but just another slightly differently shaped beam?
Right.
But I mean,
what makes them stronger is their power level. That's it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, what Seida's describing is basically something like Hajime no Ippo, especially sort of early on, before they started getting, everyone started, specializing, getting like a super move or whatever.
I was going to say, I'm kind of. Oh, go ahead.
All I was going to I'm describing. Let me make it clear. I'm describing something that is not there. So it's like.
I mean, he's describing something that exists.
Well, I mean, I'm describing what Dragon Ball is not. Yeah.
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 So,
I was going to say.
I feel like, for example, like, let's just say you have. Okay, I'm going back to Dragon Ball Super here. Though I know we're talking about Kai.
Yeah.
But like, okay, so Goku's got this new power up, or whatever, and then like. So he's Super Saiyan Blue. And like, you could write the next arc and not include a character who is stronger than they are currently. Like, it's just Toriyama just kind of takes like, oh, that's the only way I can
it's the easiest way to do it.
Progress this story is by introducing someone stronger and then basically hand waving a way to make the character stronger. And it just, obviously he's done that like now. And so it's just,
I mean, it's the easiest way to do it. What you're describing is basically Chapter Black for the most part from Yu Yu Hakusho.
Anyway, I liked in this episode how the villains are like, it worked, right?
It didn't.
I think.
Maybe. Kinda.
Because Majin Buu was just so fucking childish. They're like, this can't be right.
I have to talk about that for a second. The whole time I was watching this episode, I just kept thinking to myself, what was Babbidi's real plan here? The moment he freezes, the moment Boo is there, Bobbidi is acting like he is scared for his life.
And, well, I mean, he's got no idea. I mean, Babbidi's like, I expected, something that would listen to every word I say and be an unstoppable killing machine. Instead, I got this little childish shit.
I think that's part of it, but there's also, even before Boo came out, like, Bobbidi is visibly sweating and is concerned and like freaking out. And
he's never seen Boo before.
But then, like, that's my whole point. It's like, what the hell are you doing? Like,
I think all it is like, they don't really ever. I don't think they, for the rest of the arc, they rarely talk about this anymore. But I guess his dad and Majin Buu were actually like terrorizing like the actual galaxy.
Yeah, they went around and they blew up planets and
not for like any good reason. They just did. They
for
were just
shits and giggles.
And basically, Babbidi's just like, I want to do that. So that's what he wants to do.
Yeah, but I get that. What I was thinking is that like it doesn't paint him as a particularly smart villain because he's like clearly out of his depth, and like if of all the people who should know how powerful Boo is, he would be the one, and yet he's the one who seems equally as scared as everyone else of Boo. And it's like, well, you don't unleash a power that you can't control. Now, granted, he does have his mind control powers, so I guess that's the fallback.
Well, I mean, the thing with Boo is, like, he's the only person there who's actually ever seen Majin Buu is the useless Supreme Kai. Like, Bobby's never seen him. He's got no idea how strong Boo is. He just knows that, oh, my dad ran around terrorizing the universe with this thing, so it must be really, really awesome. I want me some of that.
But he doesn't act that way. He's not confident around. He's visibly scared of him.
Well, I mean, Boo can basically like murk him in like 30 seconds, in less than a minute if he wanted to.
But anybody with half a brain would have realized that's a bad plan to summon the most terrible force in the universe and just assume it's going to obey you.
Yeah, well, he didn't think that all the way through. Well, I mean, everyone in this arc didn't think it the whole way through.
Can we dedicate a section of this podcast to how lame Supreme Kai is?
I am fairly sure that at the end of the year we will be talking a lot about how terrible Supreme Kai is.
Yeah,
because he's like an easy top 3 worst character.
Yeah, like the last 3 episodes of this podcast have had 10 minutes dedicated to how terrible he is. He's terrible.
I mean, I just want to point out, at least he recognizes that if he had paid more attention and realized that Gohan and Goku and Vegeta were as strong as they are, that they could have gone about and solved this in a completely different way.
Yeah, too bad that the whole galaxy has to suffer about his stupid mistake, you know.
Yeah, seriously. Like, he couldn't call up, like, East Kai and be like, hey, dude, what's it like in your neck of the woods? You got any like strong fighters there or anything? Like, you know, dudes that can beat up Frieza, or, you know, anyone on that level we can hang with?
Yeah, he's the most uninformed Kai there is, you know.
Yeah, like he never even thought to like call up the guy in charge of the area and be like, yo, bro, sup? You want to tell me about the place?
Well, unfortunately, the guy in charge of the area was dead.
Well, I mean, he's dead, but he's, you know, he's not dead. He was hanging out on Grand Kai's planet. Who is, again, someone else he could have called up and said, hey, you know anyone from this neck of the woods?
Yeah, his second big mistake was keeping everything a secret. Like, why do you have to act so covertly? Just tell people that there's this thing that's going to happen, and maybe you can stop it.
Yeah, I mean, King Kai straight up would have been like, oh, okay, we'll just ask Goku to go, you know. We'll get Goku and Gohan and Vegeta, and we'll be okay.
Well, then there wouldn't be an arc.
I mean, there would be. It just look vastly different.
When it's like, hey, the only way this arc can actually exist is because one character is very dumb.
And bad at their job.
No, I agree with B-dubs. The arc could totally exist without Supreme Kai being supremely lame.
Yeah, it just would have looked completely different. Like, the final fight in the arc would have been Gohan versus Dabura. Instead of, you know.
I'd have been much more interested if, like, all the events leading up to Boo's release, Supreme Kai wasn't there, and he was on his way, and then he arrives as Boo is released just a moment too late, and is a knowledgeable character and super powerful and somebody we would like and think is cool. Instead, he's this lame guy who can't
he doesn't need to
right.
be super. He doesn't need to be super powerful, but I mean, having him not be useless would help. I think what you're describing would have helped the arc a little bit.
There are a whole number of ways you could basically make it so there is a Supreme Kai. He is better than what he is now. And Majin Buu still gets out despite their best intentions, without it just being like a series of stupid mistakes.
Yeah,
exactly.
So,
to make it that one, Supreme Kai doesn't let them start their plan.
Then get halfway done.
He just goes, grabs them, and is like, let's go beat up some dudes. And they go and beat up some dudes. And then number 2, have him make it so he doesn't know that, like, power from fighting can awaken Supreme Kai.
There you go. And then make the you know, guys that they fought actually strong, not like just garbage tier dudes outside of Deborah. You know, make that dude Goku fought strong, make that dude Vegeta fought strong, and then by the time Gohan's fighting Deborah, he's already mostly free, and boom.
Yeah.
So basically, just kind of make it Namek, where they have to fight through the Frieza Force and Dodoria and Zarbon to get to Frieza.
Yeah, I mean, to wrap it up, I mean, the problem with Supreme Kai is that he is supposed to be a character of like intellect, and he's dumber than most of the other characters on the show.
His name is Supreme Kai.
Exactly.
Literally Supreme God.
And he's shit at his job.
And then, like in Super, he hasn't been in the current arc, but like the first arc of Super, he's like the character stand-in that basically just asks questions and gets stuff explained to him.
Yeah,
like, that's your new role.
At least in Super, his role is fitting for his character.
Yeah.
Giant loser. Anyway, how about Attack on Titan?
Yes.
All right.
Attack on Titan, episode 36. Charge. In this episode, literally nobody has any chill.
This is a crazy episode.
No one ever has any chill.
I'm trying to remember like everything that happened. So Bertolt and Reina are running away.
Mm-hmm.
They captured Historia.
Right.
So they're kind of everyone's like a big chase basically this whole episode.
Right.
And then like Mikasa is going crazy because she like only cares about Eren still, and like.
Yeah. And she wants her husband back.
Yeah, and she's like got crazy evil eyes for it. And she's like willing, and she was willing to kill, Ymir to get to him, I think.
There's also Erwin decided he's gonna come up with the stupidest plan in the universe.
What was that again?
He basically gets a bunch of Titans following him, and then they charge at the fleeing guys with them.
Yeah, Erwin is just a fucking psycho in this episode.
Seriously,
it's like he like loses. Like, did he like lose his arm and just like still?
Like, so first off, not only does he
just
like,
insane.
Let's lead the Titans to the fight. Because I'm a fucking crazy person. And then he's like getting his arm. He's like dangling by the arm from a Titan's mouth, and he's like, "Don't fucking stop."
Yeah.
Do you think I give a shit? And then at the very end, he's just like, "Hey, I'm back, bitches." I don't
That was a great plan, wasn't it?
And the episode was so crazy. I'm actually trying to remember how it like ended.
It kind of just ended with. Go ahead.
It ended with the Titan that ate Eren's mom showing up again because of.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because above all else.
Yeah.
We need Eren to go crazy now.
I don't know that Titan is still around, so like that Titan is going to be somewhere. So why not here? But
yeah,
it feels kind of out of nowhere and not really needed to me to have this.
Also, why not literally anywhere else?
Yeah, but
because Eren's the only one who hasn't lost his chill yet. That's why.
He'll never will. Stupid mom-eating Titan showing up finale fight. All that aside, the rest of the episode was fantastic. Really great character moments all around. Really, like even Bert, as we like to call him, even he gets a really good moment in this episode.
I really liked the dialogue between Bert and it started with Jean.
Yeah.
Like basically Jean is kind of like he's basically kind of trying to convince him in a sense that like we're on the same side type of thing. So there's no need for us to like be doing this. And then obviously Mikasa is kind of there, like, or Mikasa, however you pronounce her name, is just like going nuts.
What else is new?
Yeah, and I mean like it paints both Berthold and I can never Reiner, that's his name. Bert
and Ernie.
Bert and Ernie, it paints their characters like because they kind of feel like
they're tragic more so.
You're right. Yeah, this is much more interesting that they're tragic and they're trapped in this what the events that are going on. They'd rather not be in this situation. They're not just bad guys, and I like that a lot.
Yep.
Every character, with the exception of, I guess, even Aaron to a certain degree, they all had something really to contribute to the episode. It's just overall, this season and these last couple of episodes have just been the best Attack on Titan anime stuff I've seen.
Yeah. I mean, this is basically the best of Attack on Titan.
Mhm.
And we got something special in this episode, Titan tossing.
Oh, yeah.
What else was there? There's Armin,
So,
like
not only does
Armin think.
Someone go.
Okay,
decides-
Armin. All I gotta say is
everyone else has
Armin's
no
like thinking on his feet. He's just kind of going like, what does he do? He like starts tricking him by.
Like, he literally remembers that Berthold kind of had a thing for Annie, and then he's like,
Yep.
hey, they're
Oh,
torturing
yeah.
the fuck out of her.
Mhm.
Yeah, that was some dark places that Armin was going to. That was interesting.
Like, Armin straight went to some, like, Rock from Black Lagoon levels there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, when you suddenly think, oh, Armin should probably be running shit.
He should.
And then, of course, Mikasa has, like, absolutely zero chill in this entire...
Yeah.
Well, that's because her like Aaron boner is gigantic.
Yeah, she's probably the weakest part of the whole episode. I mean, I love seeing Mikasa be a badass, but here she was just kind of psychotic.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she has a very one-track mind.
Yeah.
Yep. She
So,
wants.
Well, like,
she
if we're actually
loves her some Aaron.
if we're actually discussing like the actual characters of this episode, like Bertolt, Reiner, their whole situation.
Berthold, Reiner, John, Armin, and Erwin.
And even like Connie jumping in
And,
was like kind of
also-
contributing, like about all this camaraderie that they used to have, and like why is this happening, kind of thing. And then Mikasa's just like, give me back Aaron. Like, oh yeah.
Like, in addition, Krista and Ymir, like, all that entire list of characters has more going on than both Mikasa, like, the two main characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you said it in the thread, maybe, Grex. So somebody did. They said that, like, all of these secondary characters, like Ymir, like Krista, even Bert, they're way more interesting than our core characters.
Mm-hmm.
This is a show about Ymir and Krista, and I will not be told otherwise.
I would watch that show instead.
It'd be a
2 more
better show.
episodes? Right? Or
Just
one
one
more. One more.
Just one more episode because Aaron's got to go. He has to lose his chill and go, murder someone.
I mean, this is a very justifiable case of losing your chill.
But
Well,
so, like,
yeah.
I wonder though, is the next episode just going to be Aaron getting real mad, killing a Titan, and then we're all supposed to feel happy for him? Like, is that
Maybe.
what the next episode's going to be?
I don't remember. There was
I'm sure
also that
there's
one guy who got stealth eaten by a fucking Titan.
Oh yeah, that
Like-
was hilarious.
I don't know. What's this Titan creeping up behind me? I can't hear it at all.
And then you get that forced reaction face.
That shouldn't be as funny as it is, but it is.
No, I'm willing to bet the if this is Attack on Titan, there'll probably be some kind of cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
That's all I've got for unless anyone else has anything.
I've got nothing.
I think we're okay.
Let me just say in general that Attack on Titan Season 2 has been much more enjoyable than I expected it to be.
Mm-hmm.
One could say it's the best surprise of 2017.
It's up there.
What else is truly surprising?
We actually got Lupin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, now on to things that are not the best surprise of 2017. Tokyo Ghoul. Tokyo Ghoul, Rude, Episode 2, Dancing Flowers. What do we want to talk about here?
So
How
I
useless life is.
I only watched about half of the first season off and on, and I didn't watch the first episode of Square Root of A. So this second episode was like this weird like office comedy or something. Like, what was going on?
No one knows what was going on.
apparently we have straight up moved it straight into like, we're just making shit up.
Yeah. It's just madness. I don't know. It's like, why is life? You know, that
Can someone,
that's
could
where
someone
I am.
actually try to like explain what happened in this episode? Because like,
Well,
did-
to do that, we have to explain what happened last episode, and that's impossible.
No,
I
I
mean,
mean,
no,
I
no,
remember
no,
there's
no.
like
Well,
so there's like the
last
daughter
episode-
of that crazy like anti-ghoul guy, whatever he is.
Yeah, yeah.
Like so he's got like ghoul-like powers, but he's not a ghoul or something.
Yeah.
Or he hunts ghouls. I don't know.
Whatever. And Aaron joined. All right, last episode, Aaron joined the guys that tortured him for like,
his
ever.
name's not Aaron.
Right. Whatever. Fuck him.
Kaneki.
Blame Aaron.
Yeah, Kaneki joined the guys that like tortured him and turned his hair white and his nails black, and he looks like he fell into a hot topic.
Yeah, that was last episode. In this episode, basically it was just setting up the human side of the story, which was a bunch of
care
just
about that.
we don't care about, really. And introducing the daughter of crazy white-haired psycho guy from season 1.
Who I presume Kaneki is gonna fall in love with and fuck for reasons
Don't you
unknown
mean
to
Amon?
man.
Because every scene with them is like, man, we really can't stand each other. Let's bang.
And the only other thing of note that I can remember from this episode was the crazy boy with the stitches who has no purpose. Like, he's just always there, and he's always doing goofy laughs, and he does not contribute anything to the story, and he's yet still around.
What
No
is
one
his
understands.
deal?
No one
Who
understands him.
cares?
He exists.
And there was also that other asshole who he's partnered with, who was like, well, how do you know that? Because I don't suck like you.
Yeah, I mentioned it in a thread. It's like I now understand why the ghouls continue to run rampant in this world. And it's because the organization designed to stop ghouls hires little kids and crazy psychopaths.
They're garbage.
Of course it's not going to go well.
Tokyo Ghoul might be saying something about, humans are not worth something like that.
Don't try to give this
No.
Humans
It
are the real
doesn't- no.
parasite.
I wasn't
Oh,
serious, but
I still can't get over that opening. It is the most pretentious thing I've ever seen.
We are all ghouls inside.
It makes me want to weep and then die.
The ending is really nice, though. I will give the show credit. The ending is very artistically nice looking and sounding, but the opening is like, look how cool he is.
Look how cool and deep we are.
I remember
eating people.
I forget what it was exactly, but there was something in the episode that prompted me to say this is emo as fuck, and someone else said the same thing at the same time. I don't remember what it was.
You could almost pick any moment.
It was like an insert song for like.
Oh yes.
For no reason,
Oh,
it was like a sad, moody like insert song, as some character was like just in the rain or something. It was like,
no, it was Kaneki. It was Kaneki and his new bad guy friends who were just meeting in like literally a rundown building because that's what they would do, and then that's where the insert song is, and it's like whatever.
And it's one of those organizations where they don't communicate; they just say, "Let's go."
Yeah,
and then they go.
Because that's what bad guys that do that are so cool and edgy.
Yep. They just do things, man.
God, can we stop talking about this now?
Yes, we can. You want to talk about Hunter x Hunter? Yes,
yes. Yes, please.
Hunter x Hunter, episode 58, Signal to Retreat. I gotta say, I was not expecting that Hisoka face, and I laughed my ass off.
Hisoka got his boner all ready for murdering, and then he just got doused with cold water.
It's like I would have reacted if I hadn't known, in One Punch Man, if I hadn't known the okay was coming. Because it is literally that.
The thing is, like, One Punch Man is kind of a comedy, so it even it's almost more expected there than like with Hisoka of all people.
Yeah, it made me like Hikosa more to see him do that.
Like, he got what he wanted just taken from him.
I also like that he can be. I like that Hisoka can be fooled or manipulated because again, he's always been a character who's always kind of like 2 steps ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
To have this happen is just like, oh, that's so. It feels so good to see him in that
It's
position.
amazing.
I only just realized what the troop numbers will be cut in half meant.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was like, well, there's still plenty of them, so that's clearly not right. But then I realized, oh, Pakunoda could only give it to the 6 originals.
Yeah.
She cut the numbers in half. Oh, that's the problem with fortunes.
Yeah, you can never tell.
When they kind of all gave the fortunes earlier, like a couple episodes ago, like we saw several of them, but and I kind of felt like I should have wrote them down or something.
Yeah,
like,
I'm with
Yeah.
you.
I mean, some of them didn't come true because of the actions of Kurapika and Gon and whatnot.
It was a lot.
I guess that's something I'm not sure. I guess that's something I maybe don't understand. Is like, I thought the fortunes were like kind of they were going to come true no matter what.
No. These fortunes specifically, you can avoid them if you understand what the poem is telling you.
So it's not like an Oedipus thing where you get a fortune and you do everything you can to try to avoid it. You just ultimately cause it to happen to be anyways.
No.
So
basically, as long it'll before she got her power taken away, she gave fortunes to a bunch of the mafia dons, and they didn't go down into the remember when the troop originally just murdered everyone in the dark auction thing. Like, there were mafia dons that didn't go down those stairs because they were like, oh, if I go downstairs I'm going to die, so they just didn't walk downstairs all month.
Yeah, it's more like a snapshot of what will likely happen. But if you know your own fortune, then you can change the events of it.
Yeah.
Anyways,
go ahead.
I don't know how to say this exactly, but people were always saying that the Phantom Troop are better than your typical gang of villains.
Mm-hmm.
And like it's interesting how they approach it. Like, a lot of these episodes, like the last 10 weeks, it's been a while, there's been a lot of focus on them, like maybe even more than the main characters.
Right.
In some ways, Kurapika is the antagonist of this arc.
Yeah.
It kind of feels that way, but like, even though Kurapika's motives are more just in terms of like he's just trying to get revenge on people who were murdered, and do we really even know why his clan was murdered other than like their eyes were valuable or whatever?
That was just it.
Okay, so like, even though Kurapika's like motive is a little bit more just, and the Phantom Troops, like, all they want is to basically their whole goal of this arc is basically just to make money. Like, they're selling basically fake rare items to get money while keeping the original rare items. So like,
clever.
So like, obviously, if we're just talking about morals here, Kurapika's in the better spot, but the show has gone out of its way to make his demeanor and his character like very, very rash, and
it's not something you want to be
easily upset. Like, and it's not placing him in like a positive light either. He's like, they're like, dude, you need to calm down.
You're gonna get us all killed. You need some chill.
So I appreciate that. We're like he's often compared to Sasuke. We're like Sasuke, there's a recent episode, well, not so recent anymore, where he's like, I'm going to kill everyone in the village. And it felt like it was supposed to be like, I don't know, cool?
That's basically the problem with that. Going back to what you were saying about the Phantom Troop, you had mentioned a little, they're basically like Iago in this arc, where they're not the main character, but they're so important to driving what's going on forward that you can't help but focus on them more.
Well, I think it's more like we've said in the past episodes that the show goes to great lengths to paint the Phantom Troop as bad guys with heart. And I mean, that's what's weird about it. And so, like, even in this episode, Pakunoda is killed, but we as the audience actually kind of feel bad for her.
Yeah. I mean, a little bit. Not a
Well,
lot.
you could see that she actually sacrificed herself for the others. I mean, that was a noble thing she did.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you had the other guys, like Phaeton and, Finks were just like total fucking sociopaths for most of the thing.
Yeah. But I think in a typical show, none of the Phantom Troop would be redeemable.
Yeah. I mean, that's the difference is they're more well thought out as characters. They're not just evil archetypes.
Exactly.
Like in any standard show, even in One Piece, we would have everyone would have like paired off against their specific member of the Phantom Troop and fought them and defeated them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe
that's also a structural thing that I honestly kind of detest. Can I make a weird tangent here?
Mm-hmm. Go for it.
Have any of you played Suikoden 2?
I have not.
I have. No.
Yeah. Who has?
No.
Wait, no one has?
No.
Okay. Anyway, so there's a thread on gaming side of ToonamiGAF saying that Luke Light was like the best villain. And I had heard that a lot before I played the game, like he's a great, great villain. And so that was one thing I was looking forward to. But turns out I disagree pretty strongly because Luca Blight as a villain, he's basically turn your villain evil sliders all the way to maximum, and that's your villain. Like he's the type of villain where he's like I am going. This is a tiny, tiny spoiler. He burns down a village for no reason. There are innocents trying to escape, and he kills them. So he's basically like, oh, this guy is really, 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 really evil. That's basically it. Like that, just being evil. That alone, no matter how evil you are, is just does not make a good villain for me.
You can get away with that if your villain is Nazis or demons in Doom.
Or you just
there's really no reason for him to be evil. There's really no reason for him to be evil in that game. He just is. He's just like a super duper evil asshole. And that's it.
It's almost like Dio, except Dio actually does have a reason.
But what I'm getting at is that I get the appeal, but it's just not like that's not going to be a top tier villain for me if they're just like that's it. What I'm getting at is that the Phantom Troop, while honestly they're not even that evil, like they're doing this whole money gaining scheme, and while they are killing people to do that, the main thing is money. And they're targeting, so it's like they're evil, but they're not like super duper evil. And then like we get to see a lot of these characters working as a team, and like a lot of the like for their motive, which is again kind of villainous, they are actually like it's sensible in a way.
Yeah. I mean, the sort of archetype you described where it's just doing evil shit for the sake of it and turning the sliders all the way up to evil, like that only really works if the character's just like chewing on the scenery constantly. Just sort of like that's so bombastic. Yeah, like being so bombastic and so ridiculous about it. It's like you can't help but be like, yeah, I gotta respect you, like you evil, but I gotta respect that because you crazy.
Yeah, Dio and the guy that was at the end of Iron-Blooded Orphans, like these kind of like manipulators, and they're just pure evil when they don't have like a round character, but you enjoy them being evil. I can get that, but I also would say that like just being a bad guy, like Pain, is not a good villain because he's just a megalomaniac and it's stupid and boring.
Right. I mean, I will go so far as saying that not every villain needs redeemable qualities. Because like that's been a very common thing in like literature and movies and shows lately, and it's kind of made villains worse.
And then you'd get those cases where they try to redeem the villain and it's just not like
good guy like SAO.
Or that
where it's like, oh, the guy he murdered everyone, but he's a good guy.
What was the name of the SAO2 season 2 villain?
Death Gun.
Death Gun.
Death Gun was fantastic.
I should have just said bad guy, and you might have told me.
Yes, that's who it was. Bad guy.
I just wanted to hear a stupid name again.
Yeah, it's just the sort of thing where, for me, I just want the villain to be well done. Don't just screw it up in some way, because
what does the villain want?
Yeah,
I mean, they can want to just be evil, but have them like chew on the scenery a little bit.
I have a feeling we'll talk about this more when we talk about Naruto.
Yeah,
because
we will.
This episode is basically the villain episode. So.
Yeah.
So, before that, you gotta talk about. Oh wait, we do have to talk about the other amazing reaction face in this episode.
Oh,
When they walk into the auction and the Jinx and Phaeton are just sitting right there, like,
Nope.
bye.
Wait, I missed this. What was this?
It was at the very end of the episode. Gon and Killua, they suit up in their tuxes
yeah.
and they go into the auction and they're walking down the thing. And then there's Phaeton and Finks, and they look at each other and then
There's
they're like,
straight up
nope.
like a full second of them just staring at each other, and the Gon and
Just
Killua are just like,
like, nope, we're getting out of here.
So is this the end of the arc, or is there like one more?
Like at the end of the episode, the narrator literally comes in and says, tune in next week for the next arc.
Yeah, I mean, part of the reason they do that is because it gets a little hard to tell where one arc begins and one arc ends with, like, specifically these two, because Gon and Killua have been searching for Greed Island for so long. Basically through this entire arc. Like, the first time I read through this in the manga, I thought, oh, okay, we're going to hang out with Kurapika a little bit. This will be like a 15, chapter, whatever. And then I'm like, oh, wait, this is really long. How the hell long is this? This is awesome. But, like, this is not what I expected to be happening here. Like, I expected Greed Island sooner.
I think I appreciate, like, the structure of this.
Yeah.
It's not formulaic. Like, almost every other manga or show, like, we would have just had, like, a final boss of an arc or something,
Yeah.
Like
you get
some
that
big
next arc.
battle. But, like, this didn't really have anything like that. And
Both arcs have been this way in Hunter x Hunter. And again, it's exactly, if there's one thing I can say that's probably the greatest praise I can give Hunter x Hunter is that it is not formulaic. It is doing its own thing, and it does it well.
especially considering how old it is, really.
Yeah.
Like when was this new what is it?
It started.
It was before Naruto.
Like such things as Naruto and One Piece.
Yeah, we're talking like 95, 96.
So that's like when this was actually written, like this York New City arc.
And then of course it has so much less chapters because
hiatus.
Yeah. It is currently getting chapters, right?
Yeah, it's currently back. It looks like Togashi's getting his wife to help. So, like,
he'll pound out enough for exactly one volume and then take off for a year and a half.
Yeah, or we might get 2 volumes this time, because apparently he's been working on strengthening his back and not laying on his stomach.
Which means he's trying to play less Idolmaster.
No, Miura is Idolmaster. Dragon Quest.
Dragon Quest 11 releases in like a week in Japan, so
he's gone.
We're all screwed. Like, we all made, like, the manga that basically made bets on how long this will last, and as soon as I realized, oh shit, Dragon Quest 10 is out, I'm like, damn it, I can't change my bet. Yeah, but it looks like we're going to be getting about a volume a year, which comes out to about 11 chapters.
Anyway, are we done with Hunter x Hunter then?
I was typing something. Anyway, we're going to move on to Lupin the Third.
Let's do it.
Lupin the Third, Part 4, Episode 4, With a Gun in My Hand. In this episode, Jigen is way too cool.
Oh, he's awesome.
Jigen is great, and Jigen's voice actor, Richard Epcar, is awesome.
He's fantastic. I mean, you could say that about pretty much everyone's voice actor in this show, but, I mean,
I think,
like, as a solo Jigen episode, it's very cool.
I think other than like the weird stereotypical villain voices in episode 2,
yeah,
I think the rest of the voice acting, the English dub, has been honestly really good.
Yeah.
So just some of those weird choices in episode 2 were kind of like, does this guy really have to sound like a stereotypical gay guy?
Well, yeah, and then there's also, like, even in this episode, there was a guy who sounded like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo.
Well, I mean, Shaggy's awesome. Are you telling me he's not?
No, but I'm just like, there's another goofy voice. It seems like ancillary characters are getting weird voices, but all of the main important characters have really great voice performances.
Yeah. And, I mean, I'm okay with that.
So in this episode, we got Eric the Unkiller, who's going around. I never really quite understood this. He's
unkilling.
I get it. I mean, but what I mean is, like, I don't know how this is possible. I'm just going to take it as, you know, comic booky kind of comic strippy goofiness. But apparently, his henchmen shoot people in such a way that they don't immediately die, even though they're riddled with like 25 bullets. But then it focuses on him and him, you know, basically causing a town a lot of headaches and problems. And the other main character of this episode was really great. I don't even remember her name, but she was a doctor.
Yeah, doctor lady.
Yeah, she was really cool, had a really cool character design. She was just a really great, and I said this in the thread too, I think this show has really good female characters so far. Like, all of them have been really strong.
And one thing, I mentioned this in the thread as well, like whenever there's like a woman like in that type of character position where they're a doctor, I kind of like half expect one of the characters to be like, oh, a woman doctor? That's unusual, you know, or something like that. But like Jigen, like, I guess I'm praising both the writing and the characters here, where like Jigen's just like, oh, you're the doctor? I need some help, you know, type of thing. Like, this isn't a weird thing, you know?
Yeah, he
like,
recognized her immediately. He said like, hey, doc, you know.
Yeah.
Like I almost feel like I shouldn't have to like even like point this out, but like I'm just I'm so used to like whenever there's a woman in this sort of position, like they have to like bring special attention to it. That when they don't bring attention to that, like it's just like, oh, this is just, you know, a woman is a doctor, no big deal. Like I appreciate it for that.
Yeah, I mean, Jigen specifically is very used to getting screwed over by Fujiko, so you know. He's sort of learned, okay, just because it's a woman doesn't mean they're not going to, you know, cause me a headache or they're not capable of doing a job, because if I thought that way, then I'd have to kill myself because, you know, Fujiko.
I do think it was amusing how like he's got a toothache or whatever, and his first like, oh well, I have a toothache. I better time to go to the hospital and pull a gun on the secretary there and ask for the painkillers. Like, I don't think that was gonna work.
Well, I mean, it's Jigen. He's not the smartest guy in the universe. I mean, he's smart, but you know.
Anyway, yeah, this episode's pretty cool, and I love. Here's a stupid cliche thing, but I love when it's like, go ahead and shoot me. You'll just shoot yourselves. I'm so fucking cool.
But I love how when they did it, they didn't have them actually do it in real time. They had Pops come in and explain that, oh, this has happened. You know?
Yeah, I think it's kind of funny how how can you tell that so specifically from just a bunch of people dead on the floor?
Yeah.
I mean, at least it gives the Zenigata, you know, it gives his character a bit of I don't know what the word is, but like at least he's not a joke. You know what I mean? Like if he can figure this out, then he must actually be a pretty good detective.
Yeah, I mean, he's basically getting outwitted by Lupin because Lupin is the best there ever was.
Right. But it's nice to see him, you know, Zenigata get a scene where he gets to kind of not be a joke and he's actually smart and clever. Again, and then the only other thing I would complain about this episode was while Jigen's plan to have the henchmen shoot each other, it again falls into this sort of comic strip, almost ridiculous notion that he can dodge bullets Matrix style, which is not believable at all. But
especially when they like pulled that in the very last episode too. With James Bond.
Yeah. But I think we're supposed to take the whole Lupin series as it's kind of more like cartoon physics and silliness. Yeah.
I mean, half of what Lupin does is just based on cartoon physics. I mean, with the rubber masks and everything from the first episode, you know?
Yeah. People can be totally fooled by that, or they can jump off rooftops and land in cars and it doesn't hurt them at all. And
yeah.
There's one other thing I wanted to say about this episode, but I forgot. Oh, the Eric the Unkiller. I don't know why he reminded me of like Philip Seymour Hoffman in like Mission Impossible 3.
Yeah, a little bit.
Maybe a little younger, but I don't know if that was like the actual inspiration or not. But that's what it felt like.
Yeah, it's funny, and we've talked about Lupin 3 times now, and it seems to be like every time we're done talking about it, we're like, you know, it's a good episode. It's not blowing me away, but this show is just so much fun. I just don't care. You know, it's just good.
I mean, that's the thing is, you know,
it's pretty different from everything else on the block. So it's in terms of just its style.
Yeah,
and not just visual style, but like the actual even type of show it is. It's
well,
It's
like
like
it's a heist show.
it's
I think
certainly
it's also the. I was going to say it's also like at this late hour, it's such a breath of fresh air with all the action and the humor, and it's just like, we're so used to like boring Naruto and
Gundam Unicorn.
yeah,
Yeah.
just stuff that just puts us to sleep, and then here's this like breath of fresh air.
Yeah, it's wacky, it's crazy, it does what it wants.
It's silly, yeah. So
It's pretty. It's pretty nice. It
Definitely-
goes down. This is the show that goes down very easily.
Mhm.
Yeah. Not a lot of
Like,
complaints. I mean,
Yeah,
just, again,
it's
aside from a couple of
not
bad,
hard to watch.
aside from a couple of questionable voice acting choices in an early episode, otherwise,
Yeah.
I think this has been a real hit.
Yeah. And I'm going to be really depressed when we don't go to Germany with
No,
France.
Italy.
No, we're in Italy now.
Oh, that's right.
the next
Right,
series
is in France. Yeah, I'm going to be disappointed when we don't get to go to France with these guys.
We'll see. Maybe it'll happen.
I hope.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know.
It may not be right away, but maybe one day.
Maybe
Yeah.
one time when they're just like, we don't really feel like putting anything else in the back of the block.
Yeah, we might get lucky.
Anyway, let's talk about Naruto Shippuden.
Mhm.
Naruto
Alright.
Shippuden, episode 165. Nine Tails captured, kind of. In this episode,
Not really.
Pain says pain and justice a whole lot, and that's kind of it.
Yeah.
Well-
So Pain is kind of a very stereotypical villain that
Mhm.
reminds me of, if you've ever played a Shin Megami Tensei game, the Law
Yeah.
Path, where the law
Oh,
villains in
God.
those games are basically like the world is wrong and we need order, and I am the one who's going to maintain order by oppressing everyone else, and I will
Mhm.
basically create this order, or as Pain would call it, this peace. And like it's like megalomaniac style,
Yeah.
where like they cannot be trusted to do it on their own, so someone has to do it for them. And it's just, this is so typical.
Mhm.
Like you see this in so many places.
Yeah.
Like mankind is too chaotic, and so
We're gonna.
I'm it's
It's done.
it
It's overdone.
seems so many times that it's just not interesting.
Mhm.
And like here, let me give Pain in Naruto a very small bit of praise. He basically asked Naruto, like, when the great villages were created and maintained their form of peace, villages like mine were destroyed. And then
Mhm.
like, I don't know if I forget what he asked, but he's like,
Yeah.
like, how would you prevent this from happening? And Naruto's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, it's almost, it's like, it's a surface level of,
Yeah. It's
I don't know, it's like a surface level conundrum. Like, it's not especially interesting, even if there's a
Right.
nugget of truth to it. It's just,
it's what Kishimoto's trying to do here is a step above sort of his ability to do. Like, he wants to have, this villain sort of question the way that, sort of the world he's created works. And, that's a good idea considering, what the world he's created is like. It's just the way it's happening isn't very interesting in the slightest.
I mean, consider what Pain's actual plan is.
It's
His
I will
plan
build
is
nukes.
literally, yeah, I'm going to build a bunch of nukes and give them to different countries. Or no, I'm going to hold on to them.
Yeah, I'm a
And,
nuke
like,
anybody who
threaten
doesn't play
countries.
nice. Yeah,
His
Yeah,
plan is
like,
literally,
like,
I'm going to blow up so much shit, people won't do anything bad anymore.
Yeah, basically, it's like,
Yeah.
okay.
yeah. Because prior to this, all the countries basically used the tailed beasts as like nuclear weapons, and like, oh, we're gonna do mad, and so we don't go to war with each other no more.
Yeah, I mean, it's the problem with Pain is that he's one of
The
those
plan-
he's one of those characters that was hurt. Oh, the society hurt me. It's clearly flawed. My solution is that I am going to corral these stupid humans because I know the true answer to all the world's problems, and it's going to be my oppression that's going to solve it. And it's like it's one of those villains who's just, again, they get to a point where they think they're better and aren't willing to work with people. They just want to control them.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
it's played out.
Like this sort of villain works if it's like Doctor Doom, and because that's basically Doom's whole thing is like, I'm going to rule the world because I know better than all of you. But the writers have sort of come out and
Doom is amazing.
Yeah, but like they've basically come out and said, like through like the various gods of the universe or whatever, like one of them came out and was like, I can see all the futures, and the only one where humanity is perfect and there's no pain and suffering is under Doom. I must admit this, like.
Or at least I think it said basically that Doom is, there's no part of Doom at all that there's no like little inkling in the back of his mind like, maybe I'm wrong. No, Doom just thinks he is right, and
and it's there's one like that, and there's another where like the god that sees the future admits that yes, Doom is actually right, even though I hate to admit it. It's one of those things where for this kind of character to work, they ostensibly have to be right.
Well, he may be right. It's just that it's.
I mean, he's clearly not, because it's the stupidest fucking plan we've ever seen in our lives.
So, like, basically, Payne asks a question like, "There's still suffering in this world, and I am basically proof of it. And heck, my name is Payne." Oh, okay. Eye roll. It's like, okay, Payne, this is true. Like, I can't argue on you on this. But what is your solution? By building nukes. This is like, really?
Yeah, like he needed a better solution to make the character actually work.
Yeah.
Like give it a.
Well, don't try to think up the solution on the spot.
Well, no.
It's just not gonna be. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it needed a better like overarching plan in order for this character to work properly.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with Payne's plan is that it's predictable.
It's also trash and clearly isn't going to work.
Yeah. So something else that happened in this episode, a character named Geezer Toad died.
He croaked.
And that's our episode. Good night, everybody. We'll see
I'm
you guys
done.
next week.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
So we're probably going to have to listen to Naruto call the person who just died Geezer Toad another 100 times, right?
Yeah,
I can't
probably.
believe kill Geezer Toad.
Well, I mean, if next episode is what I think it is, it's actually going to be really awesome, I think.
Now, so I haven't seen much past this in Naruto, although I know like inklings of things. But like Kakashi has died. Shizune has died.
Yeah. Tsunade.
No, she's not dead.
Okay, she's still here.
But then like Geezer Toad, I don't think he ever had a name, or if he did, it's not very prominent. Basically the Toad Master dude is dead. So like people are dying. Yeah.
Yeah.
So my assumption is that like there's like going to be some secret like, oh, we have a one-time way to revive everybody, and let's do that with the Dragon Balls or something. So that's my assumption.
Yeah.
Well, I know there's this stupid-looking GIF of Payne throwing a punch where his face is stretched across the screen. And I'm assuming that's probably the next episode or one after. I don't know. But, yeah.
I think it's the one after 2 episodes from now.
So we know that's coming. I will say the only other comment I have on this episode is that, my God, was it slow.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically my big problem with this arc is I remember when I was reading it, I'm like, oh, this is all some pretty hype shit. But now it's like, this is so slow, it's so dull. How the hell did they screw this up?
Well, like if Payne gave his spiel that he gave on this episode like in a manga form, read those pages in like 30 seconds.
I think it's also the music is like they're picking very, very slow music for some reason.
Naruto Shippuden especially has like this terrible habit to play music, and not just overplay it, but they like overplay the most boring tracks like all the time, and like in situations that they just don't even fit. And like I don't get what they're trying to go with here. Like Naruto Shippuden does have a couple of like good both like up-paced battle tracks and even like slow-paced like more melodic tracks, but then there's just a bunch of like these kind of filler noise, whatever you want to call them, that they overplay all the time, and they just like they make it they almost make it feel even more slow. Like,
I think that's a big part of why this hasn't been working for me, even though I liked it in the manga.
All I was going to say is like Pain Spiel in the manga you could read in like, let's just say a minute. You could read kind of his little spiel on everything in not very much time. But then like in anime form where you have to like have, a voice actor like kind of deliberately say every sentence and with, dramatic pauses and camera pans and things like that, it makes it feel so much slower. So
one other thing,
definitely part of it.
One other thing that should be mentioned too is that at the very end of this episode, the true Pain is revealed, and he is like this, like I was gonna say emancipated. That's not it.
Emasculated.
Not even emasculated. What is
like,
it? What's the word?
He's like skin and bones.
Yeah,
it's Nagato.
Emaciated. He's emaciated form is like sitting like in like a cross-like pose in some kind of contraption.
Yeah,
and so that's him.
And they basically show they I don't think they said this outright, but although they basically did, that is Nagato of the three kids that they showed earlier.
Yeah.
Obviously, the girl is there. I forget the girl's name.
Yeah. So what is the okay? So what we've been talking, the Pain that we've been talking to this whole time, the one with the deep voice.
Yeah.
So that's not Nagato.
I mean, I know
it is. I know it's Nagato controlling that character, but who is that? Like, whose body is that?
Yahiko.
The three kids were Nagato, Yahiko, and the girl.
Paper Lady.
Conan. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like now we kind of know. Okay, Nagato is like controlling the scenes from like the background. Conan is kind of like his like right hand woman, kind of basically just serving him in a way. Yeah. And then like Yahiko
is a dead guy.
one of his pain bodies, and they basically said in the last episode that these bodies are basically dead people. So like apparently Yahiko is dead, and now Nagato is using his body along with others.
So what was confusing me was I thought that I won't get the names right, but I thought they were the same character.
Well, I mean, they kind of are. It's just the Pains we've seen up till now are basically puppets.
No, I know that. I thought they were literally the same person.
No, they're basically three characters.
Right. I forgot that there were
Jiraiya's little backstory. Yeah. So.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jiraiya's backstory also had a bunch of other ninja that he encountered that also became dead bodies. So.
Yeah.
I don't know how like. This is actually something I don't know because I haven't seen much past this. But like, how did Nagato like apparently know who Jiraiya encountered on his journeys, and then like apparently went out to kill these people and turn their bodies into Pain bodies?
I know how. Jiraiya is pretty famous.
Did he do that intentionally? I guess just
I know
he did
how.
that just to, he did that just to kind of like troll him.
Yeah. Here's how he knew. He read all his stupid, sexy, pervy novels.
Yeah, I guess.
Because we've learned that he gives legit like history lessons in those things.
Yeah. Except it's just filled with smut.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure the smut is the only reason like Kakashi reads those things.
Hell yeah, it is.
And we also know that Jiraiya like asks his pupils who are like 11, 12, 13 years old to like proofread.
That's true.
That's the best. He's such a horrible guardian.
Oh man, Pervy Sage, what a great guy.
Pervy Sage, forever to be known as Pervy Sage by his most beloved pupil, who will not in any way respect his passing by always referring to him as Pervy Sage.
Even when he learns that he's dead, he still calls him Pervy Sage.
God.
No respect.
I can't believe Pervy Sage is dead.
I will avenge you, pervy sage. Oh boy.
I'll avenge you, butt munch.
Yeah, we had this conversation before.
Yeah.
That was great.
And I
Oh
love
yeah, that was
how,
the episode like whatever Dickwad is dead.
Yeah, yeah.
what I love the most about like the timing of Jiraiya dying is Tsunade was finally ready to get with him. He was finally like, yeah, okay, you're actually a nice guy. We should have done this a long time ago. He's like, yes, after I get back, I'm so getting in there. He's like,
I mean,
son
that's
of
just
a bitch, I'm not
basically
getting back.
that's just basically an alternate form of 1 day from retirement, you know?
Yeah, it
It's
is.
basically
But
like, oh, you love me? Cool. Just like everyone you ever loved, I'm gonna die.
yeah, it's just one of those things. It's like he's wanted it for so long. It's finally within his grasp. Like, nope, you're gonna die first. You're never gonna get in there.
I think we've talked about this before too, but like
We have.
it's so much. No, this what I'm about to say is that it is so like Kishimoto to kill off really popular characters to try to elevate his boring main cast.
Yeah.
Because like Jiraiya is such an awesome character and he's such a good asset to the
Yeah.
show. We got to kill him off because this show's about Naruto.
Yeah.
I rewatched that like last episode of Naruto short from that Fox animation thing again today, and yeah, it's still they got it exactly right.
Wait, what is this?
Like I posted in a thread, but it's like that short from that. Remember when Fox had like that kind of competitor to not like it was kind of like a little bit of animation shorts,
ADHD or something.
like yeah. It was like, and it's just Naruto and Sasuke screaming at each other, Naruto,
Oh yeah, I see.
Sasuke. And then they just start screaming, and they summon like giant things, and then Sasuke summons the colossal titan, and Naruto summons an Ava, and then they just fly at each other and then kiss. And yes, that's the actual ending of Naruto. I'm not joking.
Yeah, that is how it ends.
The colossal titan is there. It's really weird.
So do you guys talk about Ghost in the Shell or no?
Kinda.
I mean, it's awesome.
You can say something if you have something to say. I don't.
This episode of Ghost in the Shell is really good.
Basically, the DEA or the drug whatever DEA stands for, the drug part of the
Drug Enforcement Agency.
Yeah, the government are corrupt as fuck. Like, this Section 9 dude is causing us a lot of headaches for this.
Let's murder him.
Let's make a fake out about his brother and then actually frame him for like drug abuse. Like really?
Oh
Okay.
yes.
And then also we also got to see the Major was this is something I didn't actually put all the pieces together exactly how this played out, but like the Major is getting a new body because her body was totally destroyed, and then like this.
Well, I mean, she's missing an arm now.
Yeah, this person who's like, assuming the role of like the doctor who's supposed to do like the mind transfer, is like about to like basically kill her in some way, or at least remove her from the equation. But then that's when Laughing Man shows up and basically thwarts it. She roundhouse kicks this doctor woman out of the window of this little lab, and then her girlfriend is just kind of like, "What's up?"
Oh, this again, huh?
Yeah.
I think the literal dialogue was she kind of like paused for like 5 seconds. What's up? Like I think that's actually what she said, and then the Major is like, nothing, no big deal.
They're perfect for each other.
They really are.
She doesn't ask questions.
Nope. And that's what the Major finds attractive.
So yeah, I think the whole point of this episode is basically like, yep, the narc squad and the DEA of the government they're corrupt as hell.
What else is new?
And then we also got to see that one politician who's like the head of the DEA or something, who's like, he's really pushing for like the machine like therapy that doesn't actually work for his disease, when he's actually been taking the drug, the Mirai vaccine, which does work, but it's it's basically just all about the money, and also the pride, because it was a competing scientist that came up with it.
Mm-hmm.
So Yep, that was the episode.
It existed.
There's only a couple more episodes of the
Yeah.
first season. I think like 2 or 3.
I wonder what they're going to be doing after it's done airing. Are they just going to go on to the next season? Because they own the rights to that.
Yeah. So I mean, I think basically the 3 o'clock, 3:30 hour for Adult Swim and Toonami, they're just basically like, what shows do we have that are basically hours that we can air? It's either going to be some of these like these old ASA shows, Adult Swim action shows like Ghost in the Shell or Cowboy Bebop or whatever that they're just going to slide there.
I'm okay with that. I mean, I would rather them save the money and put it towards good new shows at the front of the block and leave the back of the block being entertaining repeats.
But rather than them spending money on like, I don't know, Tokyo Ghoul.
Yeah, on like a new show. And that's
Please
dead air part.
Space Dandy season 2.
Oh, please.
I wouldn't mind. My guess is they're just going to air season 2 after this because why not? It'll eat up another half year.
Yeah.
So it'll be a while before it's something else. But I wouldn't mind. Back when the block was still in 6 hours, they started to show the HD version of Cowboy Bebop, which was like the first time it aired on TV.
Mm-hmm.
And not only was it obviously HD, but it had like the uncut like dub. So you actually get to hear Spike Spiegel say shit or whatever. But like they only aired like 3 episodes, and then that's when they decided to cut the back half of the block. So like I wouldn't mind if they slapped that in so we could see HD Cowboy Bebop.
I have that on Blu-ray, so do it.
I have it due on Blu-ray. I just haven't watched
I would put Space Dandy season 2 at a higher priority though, because they aired it once.
We've never seen. Yeah, I want to see it again.
I guess I'm just being pessimistic that like they're just gonna air Cowboy Bebop again.
It's gonna be Big O season 2, and you're gonna like it.
My theory has basically been there's always something they feel is more pressing.
Well, the thing is now even Big O, I think, like it seems like for a lot of their shows, Ghost in the Shell, Cowboy Bebop, and Big O, they got rights to the HD versions now. So I think Cowboy Bebop is actually just kind of like a nice thing that kind of Funimation is doing for them. Like I think Funimation owns Cowboy Bebop now, basically. But I think at one point they were basically like, you know what, Adult Swim, they basically made Cowboy Bebop in the West, so we're gonna let them air the HD version. I don't know
whenever they want.
Are there, but because there might be some stipulations there, but I have a feeling that they'd be really flexible with it.
Yeah, and I would think that whatever they stick at the back of the block, they're going to always probably be more willing to opt for what they own and don't have to pay for.
Yeah.
That's why I was thinking like Second Gig and, even Space Dandy, things that they don't have to pay for because it's such a late hour. And again, save that money for getting Mob Psycho or something else, You know
what they could do? They might once go... depending on when Fooly Cooly season 2 is supposed to air, I could definitely see them re-airing the first 6 episodes at some point.
I'm fairly sure they will. They will probably just just slap that shit on at 11 right before it comes on at 11.
Well, I don't know if they'll put it on early. I don't know if
they did with. That's what they did with Samurai Jack, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's precedent.
What they'll probably do is like put it at 8:30.
I don't know about that.
But I mean, it's only the thing is, it's only 6 episodes. So only 6 episodes.
Kind of like how they're showing Samurai Jack at 8:30 right now. Right for like the 6 weeks before Fooly Cooly premieres, they'll just slap in Fooly Cooly season 1 there.
At 8:30?
Well, I mean, maybe in the rerun. In the rerun slot, maybe.
Maybe or 3:30, but then it's like,
I'm still pretty hesitant on like what Fooly Cooly continuation is going to be. I want to give it a chance. It's just like it feels like if there's any show that didn't need a follow-up, it was Fooly Cooly. It's I think no matter what, I am going to be cautious.
No, I know what you mean. Like I feel like from the trailer it feels like they at least know what they're doing.
I think that I think Fooly Cooly is kind of out there enough that it could lend itself to like I don't know what the term is for this, but where like there's, if you consider the first 6 episodes as like chapter 1, and then this is chapter 2, where it's like a mix of new characters and some old characters. It's a new time, kind of like Fooly Cooley, The Next Generation or something.
Yeah.
I think that would work because, again, it's not a super narratively driven show. It's more kind of wacky and out there. I would be much like a better example of a show I never, ever, ever want to see would be some kind of sequel to Gurren Lagann. Like that show, that's it. That's all you'll ever need for all time, as far as I'm concerned. Don't try to remake that or make a sequel to that. But Fooly Cooley, I could see it working. Because even though Naoto's story is over, this isn't about Naoto. This is about a new character.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be interesting just to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess that's about it. Done for this episode of the ToonamiGAF podcast. What do you say?
Yeah. I guess.
Thank you, Seda.
You're welcome.
Thank you, C. Kohler.
Rex.
No problem.
Thank you, B-Dubs.
Okay.
And we'll see you guys next week for the finale episode of Attack on Titan Season 2.
Sweet.
Yeah. Aren't we having the special episode coming up?
That is next Saturday.
Right.
So what is this episode that I've gotten myself into?
Well, we'll talk about that after I stop the broadcast. Anyway, good night, everyone.